Hey, I'm Monty, and Channel 5 is reporting that 1/3 of adults in the United States do not get enough sleep. Also, about 100,000 motor vehicle crashes every year in the United States are related to drowsy driving. Let's try to get better rest, y'all. I know I'm guilty for sure. Try to get it's for me. It's trying to get to bed earlier. I really need to work on that. Getting to bed earlier so then I can, because I'm gonna wake up around the same time every morning, but staying up too late, it's just like try to go to bed earlier. I tried that last night. It didn't work. I went to bed early and I just stayed up until the same time I go to bed. But, work on it. Let's try to get more rest. It's a lot of people not getting enough rest. And it's better for your health as well. There's a lot of good statistics on that. But what's up, y'all? We back again. Some more shows coming for you. Not everything will be a rewind like today, but it's some stuff I want to go back and hit a few, but then pretty much we'll try to keep it current. But this story I'm going to talk about, it happened about 2 weeks ago, and it was a big story at the time, and it's kind of dwindled down now. But for those who don't know, there was an NFL player. His name is Tyreeke Hill, and he plays for the Miami Dolphins. He's a wide receiver, and he's a star player. He's a very, very good player. He's probably the best player on that team. And he was stopped by the police. It was on a Sunday. He's on his way to the game. Matter of fact, it was right outside the stadium. He was stopped for speeding, and that is not in dispute. So apparently he was going 60 and a 40. So, they stopped him. And upon stopping him, a couple officers there, and one of them recognized who he was. Now, Tyreeke Hill was not happy about being stopped. Who he is? He was a little agitated about it, and a little brusque. Not belligerent at all, and not vulgar or anything with the officers, but wasn't great. Wasn't happy about being stopped. I'll just put it like that. And so he had rolled down his window. There's body cam footage. He had given them the information, and then he'd rolled his window back up, and he had a tint on his windows. And that kind of more so was where the dispute really started, because they banged on the window again and asked him to roll it down again. And then from there, it just really escalated to the point that he was then asked to get out the car, and then the door was opened, and he was literally dragged out of the car, placed face down on the ground with officers around him, handcuffed, and then forcefully sat on the curb. And so this is happening. And again, this is on a game day. So people are coming to the stadium, and other players on the team are coming. They're driving into the stadium. And some of his teammates saw this, and they got out to just figure out what was going on, because they seen him face down on the ground. And even one of his teammates was placed in handcuffs as well. And one of the officers on the scene was highly agitated by the whole thing and was talking in a very, let's just say, I feel it was an unprofessional tone. And he was the one that almost threw him down to the ground to sit down, and was definitely the one that dragged him out of the car. He was literally dragged out of the car. And this is all for a 60 and a 40. And so this created a lot of buzz. Now, full transparency, not that this makes any difference. I don't even know. Tyreeke Hill has had, some incidents in his life before, but which a lot of people brought up, but has nothing to do with this situation. Again, he was not happy about it. He asked a couple of times, like, he told the officer, "Don't bang on my window like that." I guess when his window was up, they were banging on it. He was like, "Don't bang on my window like that." But he really didn't, it wasn't a lot that I felt he was doing. And then even they were trying to forcefully set him down, and he was saying, "I had surgery on my knee. Please be careful." Again, the one officer was not careful. And this became a big incident because this was the first week of the season. The NFL was kicking off as a big deal. It's crazy to see a player face down on cuffs, got a knee in his back and all that stuff. And it created a huge firestorm. And so, kind of after it's over, Tyreek Hill actually went and had a great game. He still played in the game. He had a great game that night. And then kind of the fallout was, more so, how news shows are. Who's to blame for what happened? And, and this is why I wanted to talk about this, because it's not even so much how they handled him. I don't feel like they handled him correctly. And, in the fallout, Tyreek Hill's come on. He's talked about his role. He said he could have handled it better, but he does want the one officer to be terminated. And there's a lot of net officers pass and some things like that. It just seemed very excessive. And Tyreek Hill made a very poignant statement to the, that, he said, what if I was not Tyreek Hill? Because again, one of the officers for sure knew who he was. And at that point he told the other officers, so they knew, it's kind of, a big deal, because he's literally outside the stadium. They're there working for the team, I guess, or working security around it or police presence there. And so he said, but what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, which is a very interesting slant. What if he was not? If that was somebody else, it might have even been worse. Who knows? But just seems there's just no reason to drag a person out of a car and put them face down in handcuffs because they had rolled their window up during a traffic stop. And that's really all he did. There's you watch the body cam, there's nothing else there. My main issue with this is, in the fallout, so many people said this. They said, the officer is wrong and Tyreek Hill is wrong because he should have spoken better to the officers. Almost, as some people did, but almost going to the line or going over the line of, if he hadn't, been so belligerent, which I don't really feel like he was, if he hadn't been so, antagonistic to the officers, this would not have happened. If he hadn't pushed them to a point. And I don't even want to say them, because again, it was really just one officer that was really, to me, way over the line. But still, a lot of people were like, so they were like, it's wrong on the officer's part, but it's also wrong on Tyreek Hill's part. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. That for people to say that, as if Tyreek Hill's answers led to him being dragged out and put on the ground, or the way he answered. Now, again, Tyreek Hill did not use any profanity. He didn't threaten anyone. He didn't, I heard him say a couple times, don't bang on my window like that. He's driving a very nice car. I'm sure, this is probably $100,000, $200,000 car. You don't want nobody banging on it. I don't want nobody banging on my window. Now, Tyreek Hill also says a reason why he rolled the window up is he said, I was literally going to work outside the stadium. I didn't want fans to see and start taking pictures and things like that, which is, I don't know if that was his true motivation, but that is a real reason, because that's how we saw the body cam. But at first you saw some people taking pictures like, oh my God, that's Tyreek Hill. That's Tyreek Hill. And, it can be a whole tabloid thing from that, which I can understand from a celebrity profile. You don't want that, but I don't believe that his answers or the way he answered warranted to be dragged out. So when people say he was wrong as well, I don't feel like he was wrong or he should have handled it. Okay, maybe you don't say, don't bang on my window or you can keep the window down. But again, that does not equal being dragged out, placed face down in handcuffs, and then slammed on the ground in a seated position. It does not. It literally does not. And let me tell you for sure why it does not. Because if Tyreek Hill, let's say this incident doesn't happen, and Tyreek Hill goes to the stadium to play football. Now, this is a home game, but even in a home game, and especially on road games, but even in home games, there's other, fans from other teams there, sometimes even your own fans. Tyreek Hill, let's say he goes, he plays the game, and he drops the winning pass. Or he drops a big pass, or he catches the ball, but he fumbles and he messes it up for the team and the team loses. The things that would be said to Tyreek Hill by people in the stands would be, I mean, Tyreeke Hill is a professional athlete. He's heard some of the worst things ever said before. And so my thing is, don't ask. And so let me keep it going. If Tyreeke Hill here's a guy say, he drops a pass, Tyreeke Hill, you're the worst receiver in the world. I hate you. You're messing up. I get money on the game. Profanity. You're blankety blank this, blankety blank that. And Tyreeke Hill sees the guy. You're the worst. I'd punch you in the face. You know what I mean? You stink, all this stuff, your family and all this. I mean, again, you talk to a professional athlete. They hear this stuff all the time. If he would have then heard that, and this has happened in sports before, if he would have heard that and jumped into the stands and fought the guy or no, I'm sorry, just confronted the guy. If he would have went into the stands and confronted that guy and got in that guy's face, okay, forget the stands. If that guy, some people get field passes. If he drops the pass and a guy standing right there starts talking crazy to him, if Tyreeke Hill would have gotten that guy's face, the media that night and the next day, they would have flamed him. Oh my God, what an unprofessional act by Tyreeke Hill. Just because somebody's saying something to you, you don't do that kind of thing. That's a fan, that's a paying customer. You don't treat the fans like that. I don't care what they're saying. You've got to block it out and be professional. This has happened, y'all. This has happened not a million times, but this has happened plenty of times. Anytime an athlete confronts a fan, people always say, I don't care. You're an athlete. You're trained for this. You got to block it out and be professional. Fair enough. We don't want athletes jumping in the stands, punching people out. We don't want another Malice in the Palace. We don't want, But here's my thing. The fans, these are not children here. You're a grown adult. Why are you saying those things to begin with? Why are you getting drunk and literally almost passing out, saying the craziest things to these guys, knowing if it was one-on-one, face-to-face, you probably wouldn't say that. But that's not even here, they're there. Saying all that stuff, and then Tyreeke Hill reacts and gets in the fan's face. Doesn't even have to be a fight. If he just gets in the fan's face, I mean, shows for the commissioner would probably call him. He'd probably get a fine, all that stuff. So we're telling Tyreeke Hill to be professional in what he does. You're a professional NFL player. This is what comes with it. But we're saying to the officers, Tyreeke, you got to be careful what you say. You say the wrong thing. That's why you got dragged out the car and play. No. See, why are we making it a different standard now? Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. As a police officer, I am sure if you've been on the force for a year or two, you've heard some crazy stuff be said to you. Be professional. Just because somebody might say something to you or call you out your name as an officer, that doesn't mean you can go upside the head unless that person is is hurting you or, coming at you. I can say something, not that I would, but I can say something, and that should not escalate your emotions to the point that you're now acting unprofessional, because that's the same thing we tell these athletes who hear a million times things worse than what a normal person would hear. Okay. And the police hear some bad things, but just because Tyreeke Hill says, don't bang on my window, does not give you license to drag him out of the car, put him in handcuffs, and then slam him on the car. No. You see what I'm saying? And I heard so many people saying, the police were wrong, but Tyreeke Hill, you can't say these kind of things. My First Amendment people love their free speech and all that. He can say whatever he wants. He's not making a threat to anyone. So he can say whatever he wants. And him saying that, and so many people were, but you know how the police. But again, if he is an athlete, would have confronted someone that said something about him or his performance or his family or his children, and he got in their face, oh my God. See, this is why you got to cut him. He's got to get suspended. He's got to get, but I never understand. I don't like that change in dichotomy again. And I am not for just out. I've seen people do that. They make a video and they disrespect police. They're trying to egg them on to a reaction. That's childish and ridiculous. Don't disrespect anybody. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, why do we have this high standard for, I don't know how old Tyreeke Hill is, but there's a lot of young guys in the NFL. You can be 22 years old. You're not used to somebody really, going crazy on you like that, saying that kind of crazy stuff. Even college kids aren't supposed to do that. In college, the stuff they hear there. You're 18, you're 19. Nope. They're not even paid professionals yet. But nope, you can't do that. You got to be bigger than that. Be better than that. Be a professional. You know what I'm saying? But then when it's an officer, the people were saying, yeah, but that's still, they still a person, so you can't say whatever. Are we all people? Okay? What? I don't understand that. Somebody come talking crazy on your job. You just can't punch them out, if they just calling you out your name. Nope. Now, it'd be interesting to see how a lot of people handle that. But my point is, I just did not like the commentary I heard to where it was almost as if, Tyreeke, if you wouldn't have said what you said, you wouldn't have got dragged. There was no reason to drag him out of the car, period. He did nothing close to being dragged out of the car. And he didn't do anything close to being handcuffed or slammed on the concrete like that. No, nothing. And even if he was calling them out their name, that's not justification for doing that. Okay? So I just want to make sure, again, this happened. There's still some adjudication. We don't know what's going to truly happen yet. There's still some fallout from that. But there was just a lot of that. And I'm not even making it a racial thing or all that. I'm just saying we ask people in a lot of areas to have discretion and professionalism, all that. It's just weird too for sporting events, because in sporting events, it's just like you feel like buying that ticket, you can talk about their mama, you can say all that. And if the guy comes up to you, what's the problem? Whoa, chill out. You know what I mean? But then there's this whole other code outside of that where you have to show respect. And I'm just saying, let's keep that fair. Respect should be respect in all aspects. Okay, respect should be respect. And just because you might feel disrespected does not mean you can cross the line. Disrespect, there's nothing on the books for disrespect, meaning because I felt disrespected, I can punch somebody in the face. If I punch somebody in the face because I felt disrespected, I'm going to jail. And I can say, well, yeah, he disrespected me. He said something. That's not enough. That's not enough. You know what I'm saying? You can't just haul off and... So I just heard that so much. I was like, I got to talk about this because I don't like that discourse. And I am, like I said, I respect law enforcement. It's a hard job to do, and a lot of people really love to work, and I don't want to get into the bad apples thing and all that. I'm just saying, in that instance, in that situation, what he did not warrant what happened to him, and him saying what he said is not a validation for it. And a lot of people were trying to validate it for that, and that's wrong. So, all right, we'll stop there. Got a lot more shows coming, but I wanted to hit that one, get back into the groove of it. Stay with us again. Check out, of course, we'll be back on the YouTube channel. Got more stuff coming. A like, a subscribe, a comment. We'll appreciate it, guys. You know what I want you to do? I want you to be blessed. Stay sharp.